When we stare at a credit card bill we can't quite pay off, the immediate reaction is usually guilt. We tend to view the struggle to escape revolving debt as a lapse in personal discipline. Before the 1950s, consumer credit was largely hidden inside private merchant ledgers, but the introduction of physical charge cards and analog imprinters changed that, bringing with them a highly visible numerical credit limit. Over time, that printed number evolved into a perceived psychological safety boundary. We assume that staying safely beneath that upper limit is entirely up to us, a matter of self-restraint and individual choice. In fact, researchers have identified an over-optimism bias at the moment people open new accounts. The majority of consumers select their credit cards based on the assumption that they will never actually carry a monthly balance. This over-optimistic baseline creates a specific gap in our perception, one that allows the underlying mechanics of the system to operate largely out of sight. The mechanics of credit expansion begin with an industry practice known as the low and grow strategy. Lenders intentionally originate accounts with relatively small limits for average borrowers to test their behavior. To understand the goal, we have to look at how the industry categorizes its users. A transactor pays off their bill in full every month. A revolver carries a persistent balance from one month to the next, which is where the bulk of credit card profits are generated. Banks use machine learning algorithms to monitor purchasing and repayment habits. They are watching for the exact moment a transactor transitions into a profitable revolver. Once the algorithm flags a revolver, the system automatically initiates a proactive credit limit increase, raising the available borrowing power without the consumer ever requesting it. This graph plots behavior after a limit increase. The top line is the expanded limit. Beneath it, the revolving balance dips, then predictably rebounds. By keeping the card equally full against a larger limit, 30% converts into permanent debt. These automated increases are calibrated mechanisms designed to transform occasional borrowers into long-term revolvers. Giving someone more available credit effectively removes the cognitive friction that normally prevents spending. Using that credit actively stimulates the striatum, the brain's reward center. A simple swipe sensitizes these reward networks, effectively stepping on the gas for impulse spending. Normally, physical cash causes a psychological pain of payment. But because credit cards delay the loss of money until a bill arrives weeks later, that pain is largely eliminated. When that monthly statement finally arrives, it employs another psychological tactic, the minimum payment requirement. Behavioral research shows that prominently displaying a low suggested payment acts as an anchor. It frames the user's mindset, often inducing a drastically slowed repayment cycle that maximizes the accumulation of interest. The system uses neurological rewards to drive the balance up and psychological anchors to stall the repayment. This system is financially optimized to extract revenue from the specific segment of consumers who carry persistent debt. Credit limits function as a calculated risk threshold. They mark the maximum amount of debt a lender believes a specific borrower can carry without defaulting on the interest. Lenders deploy massive machine learning models to map the self-control limitations across their entire user base. The industry strategy is to pinpoint the accounts exhibiting these identified vulnerabilities and systematically push unsolicited credit directly to them. This targeted expansion drives a predictable swelling of aggregate household debt across the entire economy. Individual willpower is consistently challenged by the combination of behavioral nudges and automated credit expansion. The difficulty of escaping a credit card balance feels like a personal struggle, but it is an engineered, algorithmic feature of the modern financial ecosystem.